afternoon, everyone. This is Rosalind Khan with Chow Entertainment, Living Your Best Life. Today we're in the beautiful city of Beverly Hills with Jim Seji. This is such an honor and privilege to meet this distinguished man. He told me he was a janitor, and I didn't quite believe he was a janitor because he says he's worked with world leaders from around the world and he's advised them. And so, Mr. Sedghi, thank you for inviting me to your lovely palace over here.
You're welcome.
I want to know, how did you get started? What, day number one, what brought you to the world of meeting with these dignitaries from around the world and advising them?
First of all, I thank you very much for coming here and giving me the honor to be interviewed. I think everybody has a story in his life, and I have a story that I like to say to the people, particularly the young people. And you should always take advantage of the opportunity. I remember I was in Queens College in New York many years ago, and I had a lady friend, my classmate,
right?
And her father was the ambassador of Spain to United Nations.
Wow.
And one day she invited me for, I believe, Bastille Day.
Right.
And the father invited me also to go to UN. And I went to UN with her, and the father introduced me to people that they came to visit. And among the people that they visiting there was this gentleman who came to introduce himself as chief of the police of New York City. And I talked to him, and he said, what language do you speak? I said, Farsi, from Iran. And then he asked me, he said, there is a radio station that speaks different languages. Do you have a Farsi program in that TV station? I said, no. Then he said, maybe if you like, I'll introduce you to the president of the station, and maybe you do a program.
Wow.
So I said, okay. At the time, I gave him my card, and next day, I got a call from the president of the station. And this is what the story is.
Right.
He introduced himself as the president of WHPR Radio in New York, multilingual radio station. And I said, yes, what can I do for you? He said, listen, I would like to invite you to come do a program tomorrow afternoon at 6 o'clock, but be at the station at 5. Would you like to do that? I said, okay, let me think about it. He said, no, don't think about it. Listen, my son, I am giving you 1 out of 13 million opportunity to be on the radio tomorrow afternoon. Are you smart to take it or stupid to let it go? I said, no, sir, I'm not stupid. He said, I'll see you at 4:30 tomorrow. Gave me the address, and I went there, and I did the program. I talked to him and played some Persian music, and invited me next week, and the next week, and the next week. I got a call from then consulate of Iran in New York, and they said what you did was good, and you introduced the country. And that time Iran was wonderful in progress, and then under the late Shah of Iran. And then I got a call later on from the ambassador, who happened to be the Shah's son-in-law and the ambassador to UN. And I got into the crowd, and that ended up me being with that of, I met His Majesty the Shah of Iran, and I became the friend of the family, the royal family, and one of the Prince Ghulam Reza Shah's brother and the royal family. And I got to know a lot of people, and I got to buy the radio station after a couple of years.
Wow,
and
that is
that
amazing.
made me to be in the arena of politics, the politics arena. I met first the mayor, then the governor, then we went, parties here, there, and I got to be known in New York because of the radio station, and I met a lot of dignitaries, foreign
Wow.
dignitaries, UN, and things, and I got to the president. So I met President Nixon, I met President Carter, which I liked very much. I mean, President Reagan, I'm sorry, not President Carter. President Reagan I liked very much. Then I met President Bush. Then I met President Ford. I met then the Russian President Gorbachev. I met His Holiness John Paul, the Pope. I met a lot of dignitaries, and I made a trip with the vice president then to Central American countries, where I met the president of the countries, particularly Madame Dana Violeta Chamorro, president of Nicaragua, which we started a good friendship relation, and then through these things I met the people in Hollywood, and at the time Iran was into the progress, and we were celebrating the 50 years of the anniversary of the royal dynasty in Iran, Pahlavi dynasty. Then I had the pleasure of taking 155 people, movie stars from Hollywood to Iran, including Elizabeth Taylor, Connie Stevens, Barbara Eden, Frank Sinatra, Carlos Leachman, a lot of people that we went there, and then I became a person in the Hollywood arena too. So I did a lot in the back.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So you've listed so many things. Now I'm going to ask you a really difficult question.
Sure.
You've dealt with many politicians in the world in many different avenues. If there were two characteristics that you would define that would make a good leader, what, of all the people that you met, and thinking about all those different personality types they have, what are two characteristics of a really good leader?
Well, to be honest with you, no matter who, the king or the president or queen or whatever, first must be human being. If somebody is a human being and a good human being, then could be good president, good whatever he does. But I found that, to be honest, I think the late Shah of Iran was an exceptionally person in the past 100 years of the political arena, because he knew very well, he was ahead of his time, and he did a lot of good things. And we had the 2,500 years of Persian Empire that we celebrated in 1971 in Iran, in Persepolis, where the Cyrus the Great, who was the founder of the first human right in Iran, and we had 82 countries, kings, queens, presidents, to be in the party to celebrate the 2,500 years of Persian Empire in Iran. And there has not been a gathering that you would have so many presidents, kings, queens, leaders to be there. And that showed how Iran was toward the progress, and how the late Shah of Iran did to bring the people and the country, and also bringing the harmony and the peace between the people of the world, which, as I said, is not easy to have 82 heads of states in one place.
No,
and they were the guests of the Shah at that time, and the Queen, the Empress Farah, and that was what it was.
No, that's amazing. Great. I think we need to take a commercial break right now, so if you can just hold on real tight. Sure. We will be right back just after this commercial break.
Hi, this is John Grant with John Grant Coaching. Are you feeling depressed or anxious because you've just lost your job, perhaps a relationship? Well, you need a coach that will get to the root of the problem and give you simple instructions to follow each and every day. If that's you, call this number, 951-225-5809, and you'll be working with John Grant Coaching today.
My grandmother had Alzheimer's, and I remember we were all in the hospital room, and for like 10 seconds she recognized who we were, and then it was gone. So it's like a thief. It's taking away memories and who you are as a person. Over 5.5 million Americans have Alzheimer's. That number may double by 2050. For more information, visit rightfocus.org.
Senior Care Authority is a one-stop solution for helping you locate senior living options.
We understand the care, the costs, and the safety records of hundreds of communities, from assisted living and memory care to independent living and even skilled nursing. We help families cut through the complexity to make courageous, informed decisions under difficult circumstances.
Well, if you missed out, this is Rosalind Kahn from KXLA Chow Entertainment here in Los Angeles and KGNG in Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a man that is a leader who's interviewed so many people from around the world. In the first half of the show, we got to learn all the dignitaries he talked about. Then we got on to the important stuff. We asked him the two qualities of what a leader was. And first he was talking about the human qualities. He was talking about being able to unify other people. And you were telling us, what was the second characteristic?
To be strong in what you do and believe in what you do. And if you have a good cause and you believe in what you do in your cause, then you could do it pretty good. Because in order to do something, you have to believe it first, to transmit that to the other people or to the group or to the world. So that is what it is.
Wow. Now, if you were to go back to your childhood and look at the little child in you, when you were a young child, did you ever have any vision that this is where you'd be someday or this is what you would be doing? Or was it just all per chance that these things just fell into place?
Well, I must tell you, I wasn't that lucky at the childhood. I was, I was born Jewish in a Jewish family in the city of Hamadan, with the story of Esther and Mordecai. The story of Purim happens there.
Wow.
And I'm intending to do an opera on that very soon.
Great.
And would be something, a cultural thing to the Jewish community in the whole world.
Beautiful.
But unfortunately, at the time, it was after the war, because I was born in 1941. And then it was right after the war, Second War. And at that time, the city was bombarded by the German and Germans, that they came to Iran, and Iran was involved unwillingly in the war, because the British came from the south and the Russian from the north, and Iran was occupied at that time. And I was born in that time that they bombarded the city of Hamadan in Iran. Unfortunately, I lost my father when I was 1 year old. And then I was blessed by having brothers and sisters, and may they rest in peace. My mother and brothers and sisters, they helped me to be, a child and living there. And I left Iran to come to get education when I was about 18 years old or so. Then I went all around the world from Europe to America. And I must tell you, when I got to America, I was 18 years old and I had $18 to my pocket.
Wow.
Even though I came from a rich family, rich Jewish family, but I started working, and I did a lot of things that the students, they do work.
Right.
And then I was lucky and I was determined to make it. As I said, if you make it in America, you can make it anywhere.
You know, I learned that's the very same lesson. I was in broadcast media and I worked in Spanish language media, and I had this opportunity to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And the most valuable lesson I learned being in sales in Santa Fe, New Mexico was, if I could go to a place where I knew absolutely no one and make it there, I could do anything I wanted in my whole entire life. And that has been just the foundation of, just following the dreams and making it happen. It's such a good lesson. It's, you set your mind and you make it happen. You had shared an earlier story about your entree into media, and it almost parallels my story. There was a good friend of mine, Lisa Pacheco Chow, that you know very well, and had come up to me in January and said, she offered me on several occasions, would you like to have a TV show? I said, I don't know. And all my friends said, no, Rosalind, you're gonna, a ton of money, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this. Rosalind, if you don't take that opportunity right now, I've got 3 other people lined up. Is this station gonna be yours, or is it not gonna be yours? And so here we are, almost 6 months later. My station is now in Las Vegas. I'm going to a trip to Egypt to interview a diplomat. And, sometimes you gotta listen to that voice, and you said, be true to yourself and make it happen.
Absolutely.
You're a man who also has a number of charities. I know you've got a number of them.
Well,
and if you were to say the top one that you care the most about, which charity would you say is?
I would say helping the people who are in medical need, particularly the older generation. And, sometimes you cannot help it because some people, they get in these situations that they don't know. I have met a lot of people that they were multi-millionaire at the beginning, but unfortunately at the end, they had no money even to eat, and particularly needing great help. I have done a lot of different areas, and I'm glad to tell you that I have been working in different charity organizations, and I'm honored to win the humanitarian award from His Holiness John Paul the Pope, from U.S. Congress, from Southern California Motion Picture Council, from the mayor's office, from the governor's office. And I did a lot of work, including back in for orphanage back in Iran, which I did it till the so-called Islamic Revolution, which ruined the Iranian country and Iranian the people, unfortunately. But you know, we are all human beings. We are here a short time, regardless of race, color, religion, whatever.
Right.
We are human beings. That's all. If you have that concept in your mind that you know, we are all the same, we are one.
Right.
Therefore, no matter who, we all have the same feelings, and then these feelings should be toward each other too. Then we have a better world.
No, that's absolutely
I'm
true.
a man of peace, and I always think that way. So
That was my mantra for today: calm, peace, and the rest. What drew you into health as the area that you wanted to focus on? Did you have some illness in your family, or something that happened in your immediate, or how did you get drawn to focusing on the health aspect?
actually, I've been lucky. My family, may they rest in peace, but mainly my family, we had longevity.
Wow.
My mom, may she rest in peace, was 97 years old. I had two sisters, 105 and 103. They passed. My brother was 101, and I have two brothers and two sisters who in their 90s.
Wow, I hear the sound, and we're gonna have to take one more break to talk about longevity.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Oakland Aviation Museum. This is a special museum for aircraft, historic GA, general aviation, and World War II airplanes here at the Oakland Airport. As you can see, it's now open 7 days a week for the summer. And I wanted to show you around. This is an indoor and outdoor museum. This is the outdoor area. Over there we have a flying boat. There's not too many of those left. Here you can see the Douglas KA-3B Sky Warrior. Really cool. Let me take you inside the hangar. I'd love to show you around a little bit inside this hangar that is home to so many wonderful planes. This here is a favorite of most people. It's a P-51 Mustang. Lots of red and blue. You can read up on it. See the helicopter back there? It's always great to look at all historic aircraft that you can't see in too many places. I'll just take you through this hangar right here. This is an Aranca. A lot of people got their start or had their first flight in this plane. Now we use more Cessnas. Come over here. And this is just a great place to come and visit, to bring your family. As you can see, the ground is like a little runway. Got the Kitty Hawk corporate. And of course, that's the Wright brothers. That's the Wright brothers plane. There's always exhibits in here. We have some engines. And this is the gift shop where you can get all of your favorite aviation goods. Thank you, and we hope to see you soon.
Biz Avjets USA magazine is a new publication to the business aviation industry. And business aviation is a growing and thriving industry. We plan to bring you all the latest trends and news. We also plan to bring you new information about new airframes, systems, and interiors to market. Feel free to visit bizavjetsusa.com.
My grandmother had Alzheimer's, and I remember we were all in the hospital room, and for like 10 seconds she recognized who we were, and then it was gone. So it's like a thief. It's taking away memories and who you are as a person. Over 5.5 million Americans have Alzheimer's. That number may double by 2050. For more information, visit rightfocus.org.
Senior Care Authority is a one-stop solution for helping you locate senior living options.
We understand the care, the costs, and the safety records of hundreds of communities, from assisted living and memory care to independent living and even skilled nursing. We help families cut through the complexity to make courageous, informed decisions under difficult circumstances.
Biz Avjets USA Magazine is a new publication to the business aviation industry. And business aviation is a growing and thriving industry. We plan to bring you all the latest trends and news. We also plan to bring you new information about new airframes, systems, and interiors to market.
We were just talking about the importance of health and how he focused on health, and he said he had a family that had a long history of longevity, and this is amazing. Talking to Jimmy Seji, it's just so much we're learning from the world of politics, the world of leadership. Now we're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. What was it that your parents did, or is it just the gene pool that keeps you older? Or is it handling stress, your diet, your exercise? What is it that you've learned from your family that could help others to live a longer, happier life?
Let me just, before I was saying that, my name is Jimmy Seji.
I
know that it's a little difficult to pronounce it, but anyway, I'm Jimmy Seji.
Jimmy Seji, forgive me.
That's okay. But anyway, I think it's your genes, the longevity and the family history, because you can see that the family that is been, over 90, 100 years old, and particularly the old time, they did not have these kinds of additives to the food, because these days, whatever we eat is something that unwillingly you eating that too, because they injected some, things to the fruit that we eat or the meat that we eat. So therefore, the older people, it seemed that they were more natural, and used natural food, so that caused longer life.
Right. Now, do you follow those same traditions today in eating the natural food?
No, to be honest, no.
No.
Whatever is here, so we have to compromise.
Right, but it's interesting taking those long legacies. Now, you also have some other nonprofits. I know. I want to talk about your work in the film world, because that's exciting. We're here in Hollywood. Everybody loves the world of film.
Absolutely.
What was your first film that you were in, and what's the ones that you've got that's up and coming that you're working on?
Well, to be honest with you, I mentioned about the radio station that I had in New York, and when I came to Los Angeles in 1980s, then I got into television.
Right.
I did tens of thousands of hours of television, mainly within the Iranian American community, and also with the Americans too, because I interviews, and I was with the dignitaries in ABC, CBS, CNN, all the television stations, and also around the world, because I made a lot of trips to a lot of countries there. I was, for example, I was in Nicaragua with Madame Chamorro, the president there. I was for the inauguration of Madame Chamorro in Nicaragua. Then went to El Salvador, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and those people. So I did a lot of traveling. I was in old China and Japan and a lot of European countries many times. I'll tell you this, sometimes when I had the radio station and I was PR for the royal family back in New York for Iran, I used to go from New York to Iran, which was long hours, 12 hours.
Wow.
And I used to go there maybe twice a week, go and come back. And I must tell you, when I took Elizabeth Taylor and those people to Iran, I did not sleep for 72 hours. And the third day I fainted. But anyway, I did a lot of traveling. I met a lot of different people. I always say people are people.
That's what it's all about.
No matter where, but from streets of poor people, maybe in Nicaragua or Honduras, or you go to the places of rich people like Avenue Foch in Paris, or
Right.
they go to King's Road in London, or Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills,
Right.
Japan. But people are people.
That's what it's all about. People are people.
Exactly.
Now
No
you
matter
have,
rich or poor, but they still are people.
now you have a special movie that's up and coming.
Well, to be honest with you, I have a dream that I like to make it happen, and I have a special, I don't know how to say it, attachment to the late Shah of Iran, because for 37 years he was ruling in Iran. I must say that his father, Reza Shah the Great, and he transferred the Iranian country, the Iranian life, from a miserable, backward, poor, and at the time they're devastated. They talk about the Holocaust.
Right.
That unfortunately we lost a lot of people, including 6 million Jews.
Right.
But I like to say that during the time that the British were colonizing the world at that time, Iran was, almost under the thumb of the British. And at that time, 9 million people out of 18 million population of Iran was dead because of plague, because of the hunger, because of all kinds of things that they were there. And it seems that that is the biggest number, that it was like another Holocaust.
Right.
But I don't want to compare, because Holocaust was terrible, because
Right.
they took the people that because of just the religion and put them in the concentration camp, burned them into
Right,
furnaces.
right.
But in Iran, unfortunately, from the poverty and the plague and unreal, terrible things that has happened, and they had the hungerness that was in Iran, due to the fact that the British were taking all the grain and all the
Right.
food, and 9 million people died,
Wow.
and they wiped out from the earth because of these things. And the other part of it is that because of the upper hand that they had, this never got out.
Right.
And people, they don't know. If you tell the people now, after all these years, that listen, this happened in Iran, the
Wow.
place that they had a lot of poets, that the country with beautiful language, beautiful people, beautiful culture. Unfortunately, close to 10 million people were killed
Wow.
because of these things. And people, they don't know about it.
Wow. So this is going to be an amazing story of how it is that we uncover these people's lives who were taken away, that nobody knows about it. The great rulership of this family. This has been truly an honor of Rosalind Khan with Chow Entertainment, Living Your Best Life, KXLA, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. and KGNG out of Las Vegas, 26.8 at 8 p.m. daily. It's truly an honor to interview Mr. Jim Seji.
Sedghi, that's right. Now you
Sedghi.
said it right.
And such a diplomat. And you can follow us on TV. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. Gratitude's beyond words, and namaste. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming here. Thank you, and I wish peace on earth for everybody.
Awesome.
Let's have it.
There we go.
Thank you very much for coming by. Thank you for your time.